We're wrapping up CEO of the Day for 2026, and I've been trying to make sense of what's just happened. When we started this program in 2023, the thinking was at the time like, okay, we just want to do something different. We felt it would be very powerful to have a young woman be the CEO for the day, not to shadow me, not to observe me, but to actually go through the process of what my day would look like. So meetings with clients or partners, with employees, with stakeholders. The other thing we wanted to do is that we didn't want it to just be something that was internal to us. We thought that this was a good conversation to have with other companies. So I remember calling CEOs that I had a relationship with, and there were 7 of us, 7 companies that did CEO of the Day in 2023. And each year we've learned something new. It's been very interesting. In 2024, when we had 23 or 24 companies join, in 2025, we had over 30 companies join, and the company in Ghana as well. Each year we've learned something. We did an impact report, a CEO of the Day impact report in 2025, and it showed us that a lot of women were gaining a lot of confidence and visibility in their organization. We actually had 2 women who became CEOs. I mean, go figure. So in 2026, and it's the end of March, and we have over 100 companies who have participated this year across 5 countries. And this number, honestly, I don't even know if it's, I'm not sure I'm giving you an accurate number because I've seen so many companies participate, but it's been amazing to watch how many companies have participated. And what I love is just seeing the young women participate in this, but more on that in a minute. And I realized this year that what is happening is much bigger than what we built. If that even, it doesn't make sense, but I have to take a minute to just acknowledge that we went from 7 companies to over 100 companies this year. And it means that something is working. I've been wondering why? Why is this idea the thing that has really pulled people in the way that it did? And I mean, we basically started with a LinkedIn post in 2023. We didn't have a massive marketing budget. It was just an idea and a LinkedIn post that launched it. And somehow, a couple of years later, over 100 companies across 5 countries have said yes. And I think the reason is simple. People knew that the room needed to look different, right? I think many companies, struggle with, how do we create inclusivity in our organizations? But they didn't necessarily have a mechanism. And this was something that was simple enough. CEO of Day was simple enough to actually do, visible enough to matter as well, and concrete enough that you could point to something and say, we've done it, we've done something. I think CEO of the Day gave them all of that. We didn't create the need at all. That's not the point I'm making. We gave it a name and structure. And it turned out that lots of people were waiting for this. I mean, it's just exciting. I mean, how do you know when something you started is real? It's not the number. I think for us, it's just seeing a lot of the activity. For example, there are lots of companies who saw what we were doing or saw other companies, initiatives, and decided to join. So they were just inspired and motivated to participate. And I think that's great. And we've had some amazing brands join us. So Societe Generale, Sofitel branch in Nigeria, I'm speechless, as you can see. But they all saw what CEO of the Day was doing, and they decided that it belonged in their world as well. And we've gone, like it's across sectors and across countries, and women CEOs and men CEOs, like everyone. And can I tell you when I really knew that there was something happening this year? I happened to see, I was on Facebook, and, because I like to see every day what companies have participated. So I was on Facebook and I was tagged in on a post. I go to look at the post, and there's this person who is arguing about whether this is, about this program and what does it all mean, and, why are so many people participating. And underneath the post were people, there were former CEOs of the day saying, I was a participant and today I'm a CEO. And, oh, if you want to know more, go over here and read this article. So there were people who were, like strongly defending the program. There were people who had seen the program from afar and were asking some very pointed questions. And I was like, wow, this is great. Because honestly, nobody debates something that doesn't matter. And beyond the spread, you start to see what it's actually doing. Last year, for the first time, as I mentioned, we did the CEO of the Day impact report, because at some point in time, you have to go from vibes to evidence. And what we saw was very clear. Most women experienced an increase in confidence. They also had, increased visibility. It also had a direct impact on their careers, promotions, new roles, more responsibility. And you see it in very small ways as well. Like the thing that I really love to see is when the women add CEO of the Day to their LinkedIn profiles. As a matter of fact, can I just tell you, Nashata, who was our CEO of the day wasn't even over. I think she did it as soon as she started the day. She added LinkedIn. She had already updated her profile. And then one other thing I have to mention is that there are companies like UBA, like INSEA, like Canal Plus, who have been there from the very beginning. So they were there in 23, 24, 25, and 26. Like, they've been there from the beginning, and they do it repeatedly because they see its value. So at this point, it's not just about virality, it's working. But I want to bring this close for a second, because scale is one thing, and I'm really proud of that, and I'm excited about it. We've had a huge achievement this year. But what it actually looks like in the room is the real point. This year, Nashata, as I mentioned, was our CEO of the Day. Her first meeting was at 9 a.m. It was a meeting with me and our partner, one of our partners. And at the beginning, she was quiet, just observing. It's the first time she's been in this kind of meeting. And so she's just kind of observing. And then slowly you can see her warming up. She starts to ask a couple of questions here and there. And you can see, okay, she's beginning to warm up. Now, check this out. Same day, few hours later, she chairs our executive committee meeting. This is a meeting with me and my team, and she's chairing, right? So I have this picture, and it's an amazing picture. She's at the helm of the table, sitting in the CEO seat, and we're all looking at her. All 11 of us, we're looking at her as she speaks. Anyway, why is this such an important moment? Remember I said her first meeting was at 9. So let's say this next meeting was at 2 o'clock, something like that. And you can just see the difference. I'm not kidding. This executive committee meeting, for whatever reason, this week was one of the more complex ones, right? We had lots of decisions that we had to take. The topics were really complex. It was just a difficult, it wasn't a very easy meeting. Listen, Nashata, she had a point of view. She was asking questions. She was giving her opinion. She was challenging. She was asking to clarify. She was moving the discussion forward. She's like, okay, let's wrap this up. What? And I was laughing because I was like, what happened to the young lady at 9 o'clock in the morning? Nothing about her capability had changed that day, just her position in the room. It's a powerful program. Sometimes people ask me, why just 24 hours? Listen, 24 hours is enough. It's enough to change a point of view. It's enough to change your confidence. It's enough to change the way you see yourself. It's powerful. And I think we're only just beginning to understand this point. I think one other thing that I'm really beginning to realize and understand is what happens after, because that's the important bit, right? The 24 hours, that's great. What happens after? Because what's emerging is that it's not just about the individual experiences, it's really a network. I talked about the fact that right now, over 160 women have been through this initiative, have participated. And they come from different sectors, they come from different countries, and they're connected now by this shared experience. Dr. Vivian Ok spoke about this in the last episode, where she was talking about last year, she was the CEO of the day for UNICEF. And she decided after the program, months after, that she wanted to do, so we typically have this program in March. And in October, she wanted to do a breast cancer awareness program in a particular village here in Benin Republic. She called up a couple of other CEOs of the day, and they went with her to do this program. How amazing, like she could tap into that network and get that support. And she says to me, actually beyond that, and this really stayed with me, beyond that, she knows today that there are companies that she has her foot in the door. She can walk through the door of these companies that have participated in CEO of the Day. Why? Because there's a CEO of the Day sitting in that organization. She has access. But it's not just access at the level of the CEO of the Day. The CEO of the Day is also on the radar of the actual CEO of the company. So not only does she have access to the CEO of the day in that company, she has, by extension, access to the CEO. You see how powerful that is? And all of a sudden, you start to see that it's much bigger than a one-day experience. You see that there's a network forming. They're an alumni group now. There's a network forming that people can actually use. And they're going to have access to this network. And in 5-10 years, these women will be CEOs, they will be business owners, and all of a sudden, because we're going to continue to build this network, they have access to a network that perhaps they would never have had access to. We didn't design that, but that's one of the most important things coming out of this program. And I keep coming back to this. The idea works because it's not complicated. You don't need a big budget. What you need is a CEO who is willing to give up the seat for a day. That's it. And a woman who's willing to sit in that seat. That woman has potential. The entire organization recognizes her potential, and she's selected to sit in that seat, and she's willing to sit in that seat. That's it. The CEOs I've spoken to, it means something to them as well, not just to the woman in the seat. Because when you watch someone in your role and handle it, it changes what you believe is possible for others. I mean, For the women who have been through it, they're connecting with each other now and building something between themselves. I think it's really powerful. It's like a gift that keeps giving, and I'm really proud of it. Well, I can honestly tell you that this network, the fact that the actual CEOs observe and they think about how they can build stronger programs for their organization, we didn't design that either. It's something that happened, and it tells me that the need for a program like this was always there, and we just opened the door. I'm really proud of it. So where does this go? We're not going to slow down, and we're not going to change it either. It's going to be CEO of the day. But I do think, even though it's going to be more companies and more countries, we're going to build more depth. Better preparation for the women who are going in, more intention around what the day creates. I mean, I think we've been doing a good job around that, but we should put more thought into it, and more support for what happens either. Like, I'm a big believer that, and I've heard it from Dr. Vivian Ok and many others, and we're going to do it next year, that there should be a mentorship program attached to it. Because 100 companies in 5 countries, that is not an initiative anymore. I mean, it's something much bigger. We have 160 women who have been through it. It's bigger than just a pipeline. And I want to make sure that we're building something that is worthy of that. If there's one thing I'm taking from this year, it's that we didn't just build a program. No, we did something much more than that. We actually revealed something that was already there, a need, a readiness, a want. And that's exciting. And now the work is making sure that what we build next matches what people showed us they were ready for. Listen, I just want to close by saying that I am hugely proud of the women who have participated in this program. I'm hugely proud of the network that is developing here. I have no doubt that this network of women, they're going to do amazing things, because in the same way that they have been given the opportunity, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they'll be doing the same. So there's going to be a multiplier effect that, again, we didn't plan for. And we're going to continue to find ways to improve this program. To the companies who participated this year, thank you so much, as always, for giving up your seat, for giving a young woman the opportunity to experience leadership. Thank you, as always, for listening. Thank you for listening to the Don't Let the Smile Fool You podcast. I hope you found it really, really interesting. But more importantly, I hope you're still smiling. See you soon.